You know when you're watching a pro drummer do a solo or a chop, and you're following. Then they do a combo of stuff that you're like, what? What if I told you that very frequently, they're not doing anything that violates the laws of physics? They're just doing simple stuff with a lot of refinement. Okay, you've heard it. But what if I told you there's one specific thing you can learn to start deciphering these solos and start sounding more like these guys, and that it's actually the simplest lick you can think of? Right, left, kick. That's it. Let's slow down this clip of Isaiah Weatherspoon. Right here. The right, left kicks. Or how about this solo from Carlin Macula? Here again. The humble right, left kick. The same lick Bonham used half a century ago. The same lick Elvin used. So that's it. Just take this lick out into the wild and everything's great. You can start stage diving and people will sing songs about you? Well, obviously not so fast. Because part of the point of this lesson is that we think what makes players like Chris Coleman, Isaiah Weatherspoon, J-Rod, and Hazy Mays sound so good is they're doing the most complicated licks. But when we slow it down, as Chris illustrated, it's mostly simple stuff.
Slow all that down.
But they still sound better than we do. Like, way better. In fact, here's Zach Dubay sounding like, what is he doing? Want to know what he's doing? The same stuff we're doing. But it sounds so different. Yeah, because of three things we'll talk about in this video. And then I promise, as part of this, I'll show you how to get a lot more mileage out of the humble right-left kick. And this whole thing will be transcribed for you for free download. You animals, go get some. Link below the player. Anyway, I'm Nate, this is the 80/20 Drummer, and today we'll talk about it. The stupid simple lick you didn't even realize all the pros are using. Stay tuned. So you'd think I'd want to start with the lick. Like right-left kick, you guys. Here it is in triplets. Here it is in 16ths. But to do different stuff than the simple guitar store boogada boogada, we need to back up to those principles. Because Isaiah Weatherspoon here is not just playing right-left kick, even though that's kind of the magic sauce. He's also connecting stuff with paradiddles. Which brings us to principle 1. Connect it to shit. You don't need a ton, but you do need some paradiddles. So let me give you a couple simple combos, which will be transcribed for you at the link below. First, here I'm playing a combo of a paradiddle and 3 singles, then a kick drum. That lets me reverse it to the other hand, which is important if I want to start entering the toms, because left hand good. It also ends on the kick, which, as you'll see, is important to hooking it up with stuff. Think of it as a binding site. Too soon? Okay, hinge. We'll go with hinge. Next, a shorter lick, right, left kick. If we play that fast, that's what gives us this goodness. So, 0 to your first improvisational experience in what? The first 3 minutes of this video? Ready? I'm going to play 1 bar of the paradiddle singles thing, then a bar of right, left kick. From here, I'm going to orchestrate to the toms. Orchestrate in this context means move my hand. If I want to connect my right-left kicks here, I'm going to need one more little connector, a right-left, a simple 2-stroke roll. Now I can make this shape. And I can even alternate between our first 2-bar phrase and this new one. So if we speed this up, it sounds all right. But it doesn't sound quite pro, right? Which brings us to principle 2. Principle 2, be able to f with it. Here we introduce the first aspect of semi-hard work and an answer to the question, what are all these great drummers doing all day? Because the basic licks I can show you in 5 minutes, as you saw. But when we watch Isaiah or Carlin, they're mixing and matching stuff in real time. They're interchanging things. And that's what we're going to get into right now, in this overview, in this tasting flight. Let's go back to our paradiddles. Recall that we can play a whole bar like this, but we can also recognize that this is at least 2 separate licks within this larger lick. What would happen if we took those apart and changed the order? Like, lick A is this, starting on either hand. Lick B is this. And what happens if we just make a chain of A's and B's, where we can change how many of each we do? As in, we could do A, A, B, A, A, B, A, A, B, A, B, or A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, or B, 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 A, B, anything. Now we have what I call a switching exercise. So let's run this. And now let's orchestrate. Now let's add right, left, left kick into the mix as my lick C. And it's here I feel it's useful to remind you, you can download the free transcription below the video player. So we can switch ABC, 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 or CAB, AC, ABA, or any combo we want. Let's try it, and rather than ask my editor to discern which licks I'm playing and put them up on the screen, I'll just call it first, like Babe Ruth. Here's a CAB, AC, ABA. Ooh, that's actually interesting. Here's ABBA just for fun. I know, we still haven't gotten to the part with the right left kicks. But first, I need to blow your mind. Or maybe not, but it blew mine. Some of you might be way ahead of me, but here it is. Here's the thing about switching exercises. You can just keep adding more things into the hopper. And here's the other thing. A lot of people think you need 26 letters to make a solo. The reality is, it's more like 6. Even pros. Sure, they know a lot more letters, but very often they're only playing with a few letters at a time. But let's call our right-left kick D. And I want to give you one more. Right, left, left kick, which we'll call E. Eventually, we'll want to switch amongst all these, but for starters, let's just do D and E. E, since it's 6 notes long, will help us get back to the downbeat when we play D. Now, let's add all those letters back into the mix. I don't know how well I'll be able to do this since I'm learning it along with you. Okay, let's press pause. Because what about all those crazy licks we see people doing when they're for sure hitting a stack along with some stuff? Okay, so before I show you a good one to hit the stack, the point is, yeah, those great drummers had a lot of years to innovate things. But my original point stands. It's not because they've got any one new magical lick. It's in the combos, and something else we'll go over. Okay, so another lick I like for incorporating the right-left kick is the simple hands together lick. Just 2 notes. And we can put it together like this. That's one example of something great drummers might be innovating. Another footnote. Right-left kick presents problems because it's a 3-beat phrase, so it cycles over the bar line, which makes it more advanced. But that over the bar line phrasing is also what makes solos more interesting. Remember our first couple trading licks? They were all downbeat oriented. But with the 3-beat phrase and the 6-beat phrase, we were able to shift things around. Alright. But say we practice all this stuff for 1 month and we were switching demons. Then we go back and see Zach Dubé playing this. And we're like, I still don't sound like him. Why? That brings us to Principle 3. Principle 3. Greats have refinement and great fundamentals. It's at this stage where all the practice pad stuff we either worked on or didn't at first and then did, comes back to either pay us off or haunt us. Because when you either speed it up or slow it down, a paradiddle is not a paradiddle is not a paradiddle. This is all the stuff I resisted until recently. And if I could make one point with this whole lesson, is that once you know basic vocabulary, the how of what great drummers do is often way more important than the what. Example, Siberiano. Say what you will about his musicality. But if you're wondering why we can't do what he does, it's not because he has any super secret vocabulary. Just watch this. Jarvis Oakley. Watch this warm up and ask, can I do this? If we want to go way back to the roots and remake our hands from scratch, I recommend checking out this video. But there are things we can do for dynamics and subtlety without gut renovating our chops. For starters, let's go back to those paradiddles. This time, let's pay attention to some details. When we play the accents, whether the rim shots or head strokes, let's make sure the stick height is a consistent 10 inches above the drum. For the ghost strokes, let's try to keep those within 1 to 2 inches. The other major element is subdivision consistency. Want to know how Zach Dubé sounds like this at fast tempos? It's because its subdivision is locked in. So when you play these, try to make sure the 16ths are relatively the same distance apart. You don't have to be a robot. I'm not talking 100%. I'm talking 95 instead of 65. When we go to strike the toms, try to make the same stick height as you do the snare when you play an accent. Don't let the stick height drop just because you got distracted. Also, don't let the time get herky-jerky just because of the extra time required for your arm to move over to a tom. Get that stuff locked down. Finally, when you're incorporating the kick drum into licks, make it assertive and make the volume consistent. If you have any doubts about kick technique, watch this video here.
And that's how you get the gig!
All right, this was a shorter one, but hopefully a goodie. If you guys have a comment, please leave it below. And remember, you can get the complete transcription of these exercises free by clicking the link below the player and telling us where to send it on the next page. Dudes, it's been real. Always enjoy these. See you again real soon in another Lesson of the Week.